What is going on, everybody? Combo here. And as you read about the title, today I'll be giving you 5 Hemlock tips to make you a Hemlock god. Hemlock as a whole, very interesting gun, a few properties that I should be sharing today that hopefully you didn't know. If so, once again, great job. Hemlock for me, one of my favorite guns in the game. I know I say that for a lot of them. This one definitely falls in my top 5 though. Anyway guys, not going to hold you too long. Let's get right into it. Number 1 actually deals with the vertical recoil of both burst fire and single fire mode with the Hemlock. Now, as I just said, the recoil on this thing, though the patterns may differ, is very, very easy to manage. With single fire, as you can see here, I'm going to fire 18 shots off without stopping. If you notice, the recoil is still not very bad, and it's very vertical. So, let's finish this guy off and show that again. I'm going to fire 18 shots, this time starting from the chest. So right here, it's going to bounce off if you don't control it. As I said though, very vertical, making the recoil very easy to control. So all we're going to want to do here with the single fire mode is we're going to slightly hold down like this, very, very lightly, almost to this much. And as you'll see, the recoil on this thing almost completely goes away. Very, very good. Moving on to burst fire with the Hemlock. As you saw with single fire, the recoil with the Hemlock is very vertical. This same thing actually applies to burst fire. So once again, I'm going to fire 18 shots without stopping, starting at the waist down. As you can see, the recoil with the burst fire is still very vertical, except it'll slightly kick to the left at times. So we're going to start right about here. You can see that slight kick, but then it'll recenter itself actually, coming back in. Very interesting. Now, you would think this would affect the way you control the recoil, but it really doesn't. So all you're going to want to do, similar to the single fire, is you're going to want to slightly hold down, but this is only after you've shot a burst. If you hold down the whole time like this, your shots will start going to the floor, as shown here. So if I'm just holding down, not very good for recoil. What you want to do is you want to shoot a burst and then slightly hold down after. So right here, I'm going to shoot my burst while holding down, and then I'm going to stop right after the burst is over. So right here, we're going to aim for the head here, just as an example. As I'm shooting the burst, I'm holding down. So just slightly holding down when I shoot that burst, it'll keep the recoil on pattern. So right here, I'm going to aim for the head, holding down, holding down. If we don't do that, as shown here, those shots will bounce a little bit too high, and you won't hit them. Number 2 actually deals with the hipfire of the Hemlock, and I know I talk about hipfire with every single gun because I think it's important, but with the Hemlock, it's very, very interesting. So, with the single fire mode, you would think the hipfire would be better. Well, it's actually the opposite. The hipfire on the single mode with the Hemlock is horrible. Would never do it, don't recommend it. But with the burst fire, the hipfire is amazing, and I use it a lot in game actually. So, I'm not going to talk your mouth off. Let's try this. So, with single fire, as you can see there, not bad from there. We're going to scoot back a little bit, and this is where it starts to get bad. I mean, this is the range where I would say you should probably consider ADSing, but when you go into burst mode, the hipfire is so good, I almost hipfire from here. So, right here, we're going to single fire. As I said, it's luck based. I got really lucky there with headshots. This time I'm going to do it again. Sometimes they just go around them. Now, when it comes to burst fire though, it is actually amazing. So right here, just going to show this off. Some of the best hip fire I've ever seen on an assault rifle. Once again, right here, super good. This is like I said, with no attachments. We're even going to scoot back to here. Amazing. Number 3 actually deals with the distance at which you should be switching from burst fire to single fire mode with the Hemlock. As you could probably assume, the single fire mode with the Hemlock is much more accurate at longer ranges. Well, as proof of concept, behind me I have a gas trap at exactly 80 meters. Right here, I'd say we're about 40 out, and as you can see here, while controlling the recoil, mind you, it's quite easy to hit shots as the Hemlock's recoil is pretty vertical. Mind you, this is with no attachments. Right here, I'd say is about 50, so once again, as long as you're timing your shots, recoil is pretty easy to control there. Right here, I would say is about 70. You know, it's possible here, as long as you're timing your shots, controlling recoil, but even then you can see it's starting to get kind of bad in the recoil department. As soon as you get to 80, however, this is way too far from the Hemlock, and as you can see here, the recoil is just not very good at all. Switching to single fire mode, however, you can see the recoil is much, much more manageable. It's right here. Almost hitting every shot there. You'll still have to time your shots a little bit. This is, as I said, with no recoil management, no barrel stabilizer, nothing like that. But as you can see, much better. This is about 100 meters here. If we even try to burst fire from here, yeah, good luck hitting your shots. Number 4 actually deals with reticle placement of the Hemlock to ensure that you hit as many headshots as possible. This is important as the Hemlock actually has one of the fastest headshot time to kills in the entire game by far. So, to put that into concept, we're going to shoot a headshot with the flatline here, which does 38. Shoot one with the Hemlock, 44. So, if you somehow manage to hit 3 headshots with this thing in a row, in one burst, that's 132 damage. Almost more than a triple take and more than a sentinel, which is very, very good, obviously. Now, there's 3 ranges at which you can almost guarantee to hit yourself a headshot. 20 meters, 30 meters, and 40 meters. So, there's certain places you should be putting your reticles at those to ensure the recoil bounces up and you can hit those headshots. So right at about 20 meters, so right about here, you want to be aiming just at the neck. Mind you, I'm controlling the recoil while I do this, and the shot should bounce up to headshots. So, right there we got 1, right there we got 2. If you can manage to hit 2 headshot bursts in a row, so 2 bursts with 2 headshots, you can actually 2 burst a target at max health. Evo shields obviously complicate things, but those are less common, so I don't think it matters as much. At 30 meters, you want to be aiming just about at the chest, and this should ensure it bounces up a little bit more. There's 2 headshots, there's 1 headshot. Once again, very difficult to 2 burst a target, but it is definitely possible. From 40 meters, you want to be aiming just about at the center level of the stomach, and you bounce up there. Like I said, controlling the recoil. If you want to only aim for the head, you can. I would say start at the chest here if you're controlling the recoil much more fiercely. If you want to go here, but it's much harder to do that on a moving target, so I start lower, as this can account for movement and such, making that last headshot more consistent, even if you're not hitting 2 always. Number 5 actually has to do with the sight choice of the Hemlock and why it's so important. So, with the Hemlock, as you can see here, the iron sights aren't terrible, but they're not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination. So, I've basically narrowed it down to 2 sights that I think work very well on it. First of which being the 2x Bruiser, and second of which being the 2x4 AOG. This is probably the only time you'll ever see me recommend this sight, but I do have a reason for it. But first, let's start with the 2x. So, with the 2x, especially when using a burst fire gun like the Hemlock, you don't want to have the recoil be too bad, which can happen if you're using a sight that has too big a zoom. When using the Hemlock, as you can see here, the 2x really doesn't do much to it. It might even benefit it, as it opens up the sight quite a bit compared to the iron sights. So right here, we can get our shots more consistent, but where this 2x really shines is at longer ranges. See, the Hemlock actually has a fair bit of bullet drop, but with this, since it opens the sight so much, we can actually compensate for shots that we missed. See right there, I was a little bit too high, aim down a little bit, and we can hit our shots, and because this thing can shoot so fast, we can be much more consistent. Boom, hit that one, and boom, hit that one. Now for the 2-4 AOG sight. Now, as I said earlier, burst firing with the Hemlock with a long range sight can be quite annoying at times, which is why I don't recommend the 3x. Because this has a 2x option, however, you can still burst fire with it, and the recoil is still pretty manageable. Once again though, I would not recommend with the 4x, as it makes the recoil very obnoxious, even at shorter ranges like this. This mode, however, is not really what the 4x is for. The 4x really benefits the single, similar to the 2x. So as you can see here, the 2x on single fire is still very good, makes headshots much more easy, and because of the sight, it makes the 2x at longer ranges even easier. So right here you have our little indicators telling us where we should probably be aiming to hit our shots, so right there, and right there. The 4x makes that even easier, so if we have to correct for a shot, see that was a little bit too low, we can just go a little bit higher, and it makes it even easier. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, I enjoyed making it. Hemlock, severely underrated in my opinion, and I hope this inspires some people to go out there and roll some heads with it, as this gun has so many small little characteristics and tweaks you can do to your game that can turn this thing into a completely different monster, especially if you're utilizing that single fire mode. Anyway guys, I'm not going to talk your ear off too long. As of uploading this video, I am going to be streaming tonight on YouTube, so maybe an hour or so after this video goes up, be sure to check on the channel and stop in, say hi. Yeah. Anyway guys, this has been Combo. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and peace out everybody.